What's up, storytellers? Welcome to One Clear Story, here to make storytelling simple for you and your business. Because every business is one clear story away from being understood, trusted, and remembered. We're live here, folks. Most people think that the difference is better marketing or posting more, but the real problem is confusion. We're telling too many stories. We don't know which ones matter, and that's why I am here to help you go from confusion to clarity. I'm Alex Street, and I believe that lasting impact always starts with one clear story. So if you want to make a lasting impact with the work that you do, then let's dig into today's big idea, which is why your story isn't landing. Oof. I mean, if every one of the people that I work with could ask one question, I think they would raise their hand and ask this: why isn't my story landing? I've tried it. I've tried sharing it, but it just doesn't feel like it's connecting with my audience. What does landing mean anyways? I mean, connecting, is it being remembered? Is it converting people from audience into paying clients? Maybe that's what landing means. Is it creating a spark of emotion in your audience? If you can get clear on what that idea is, what that landing actually means, well, then I think that will help us today. And then we can dive into, well, why it's not actually working. Why is it not doing that? Well, let's get into that, because the truth is that you are sharing something. You're sharing something true and honest and real. You're sharing something heartfelt. You're sharing your journey. You're sharing something that you've experienced and how you've changed through that. You're sharing these deep, dark moments. You're revealing parts about your life that you thought you would never just share online in the open world of the internet, and yet here you are talking about all of these problems and pains and traumas that you've experienced and what it took to get you to the place and the person that you are today. Congratulations, you're doing a great job. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's like this beautiful version of humanity of just saying, hey, this is where I've come from and this is what I'm here to do. And there's this incredible amount of authenticity and bravery and courage that is required to get to that point, to even say those things. I know it, and you know it. You know the work that you've gone through to be able to say and share something true. And yet, big and yet, what? It gets a few likes, some comments here and there. Some people say that connects with me. Amazing, beautiful. Again, we're here for impact, and so you know that the impact is being made, and yet we're also here for income. So it's not really landing, because what I really want to do with this is to have people say, wow, you really get me. You've been through what I've been through. I trust you, and I want to hire you. Isn't that really what's going on here? I mean, look, you know where I come from. I'm heart first and impact first. And so, yes, the reason that we share our stories is to create impact, to help other people shift and change. And yet even that maybe needs some clarity on what that looks like. But also for business owners, you know, we're here to talk about storytelling is the secret to success. So how do I do this well? How do I tell stories that really engage people, attract people, and bring them in? Well, let's talk about that, because I think that's really what this means when we say it's not landing as a business owner. We can get into the other conversation another time as well around this idea of impact, and is it emotionally landing with people and changing their lives? Well, probably more than you think it is. But why isn't your story landing today? Why isn't your story actually converting people into clients? Because I think that what's happening is you are explaining your journey and yet leaving the audience unclear on what the next step is. There is this movement that you have clearly displayed, and you have said, I have changed from here to here. And then what? Or you are simply saying, this is what happened. In 2018, I did this. In 2019, this happened. In 2020, this happened. Oh man, and that changed everything. Then in 2021, I did this. And then after 3 surgeries, this happened. And then this happened. And in 2023, this happened. And now here I am in 2026, brand new me, brand new business, and I'm here to change the world. That's my story. Cool. Cool story, bro. I mean, doesn't that just leave you there saying like, okay, amazing. Like, I'm glad that I know all these things about you. That is helpful. That is something. And like I said earlier, kudos to you for going through what you had to go through to even get to the point of sharing those things about you. But the story is lacking a clear transformation. Most of us are out there, and when we say that we're storytelling, we're actually just sharing events. We're telling about these details and these events, these moments, this timeline that happened, but we're leaving the transformation out of it. So why isn't the story landing? Because it's probably lacking clarity of the transformation. Now, when you talk about moments, obviously you're going to see it land. And this is where we're talking about landing as more of that emotional connection piece, and why I think it's important to really clarify what kind of landing do you want. Because if emotionally landing with people is the goal, that's kind of, dare I say, easy. I mean, you could show up there, and I could show up there. I could tell you a story about my alcoholic father and how his story is just a heartbreaking one. Just watching this man go from this incredibly successful human with the greatest craft and artistic skill in the world as a world-renowned photographer into this lonely human that lived in an apartment by himself in downtown Toronto with not even a penny to his name. It's a heartbreaking story, and if I could go into that deeper and deeper and deeper, it would get you to lean in. I'm sure it would. And I would say, wow, that story landed. And you would lean in and you would say, you know what? Yeah, I had an alcoholic father as well, or my mom was like that as well, and I just saw her talent go to waste as well, and we would emotionally connect on something. Are you with me? There's landing in that way. But then there's landing in this effort that I want you to see yourself in this, and more specifically, I want you to do something after this. And that requires one clear transformation. Because the other side of this is where people get hung up. I think that's where we get stuck, is we look for those stories, and we're looking for those emotionally landing stories, and then we start to judge ourselves as storytellers and say we're not good enough. I'm not a good storyteller because I can't do that very well. I don't know what to focus on to make people lean in and to really draw them in. And I get too emotional when I'm telling the story. So how am I ever going to get through it? And all those questions come up, and all those doubts, and everything shows up when you start to think about the actual act of telling the story as this emotional landing place. But if we're focused on the transformation, then everything follows. Your story is lacking a clear transformation. But when you recognize the shift that is happening in that story, the clarity, the connection with your audience will come from the transformation, not the details. Connection comes from clarity about transformation, not detail. Yes, we will draw into the detail of certain stories, finding ourselves in those stories and saying, you're kidding, you too? Of course we will. This is the beauty of storytelling. This is some of the most amazing parts of saying, wow, no, I've been there. Oh yeah, I went to Paris. Oh, I love that place. Oh, I've eaten that thing. Oh yeah, my parents were like that too. Oh yeah, I used to watch that show. These are some beautiful connecting points that we have with people. But again, the risk is those will come and go. And those are just flashes in the pan where someone may or may not in your audience say, I have or I have not experienced that. That's more about connection than transformation. You want your story to land, to truly make people say, wow, yes, This is landing with me. This is hitting with me. Wow, I need to work with you. Well, then this needs to be about transformation. Our stories aren't landing because we're focused on details instead of transformation. When your story will land instantly, it's because you have clarified the shift, the change that you made, more than the details of what happened. Your story will land instantly because people will remember the change that you made, not what happened to make that change happen. That is the shift in storytelling. That is the difference between storytelling as this great big craft and one clear story. And you know me, I believe that lasting impact always starts with one clear story. You clarify that transformation and you are well on your way to connecting with your audience. Okay, that is it for today's episode. A quick little perspective shift to help you focus even more on what that clear story is, why yours maybe isn't landing. If this stood out to you and you're like, wow, that is the problem that I've been facing, I would love more help on that. Well, then reach out to me. Find me on Instagram @StreetSays, or find me on LinkedIn, Alex Street, and let me know what's standing out to you, what further questions you have. Let's keep this conversation going. In the meantime, I'll keep showing up here. You'll keep showing up here, and we'll keep trying to find that one clear story that changes everything for you and your business. Okay, bye.